Hello mga ka-nation! This is Chef Mark Sanchez of Bread and Butter Bakery and Spoon and Fork Catering. Other farmers markets, we have over 15 varieties of breads each time. There is one particular bread na siguro 2 to 3 weeks in a year ko lang ginagawa. It's because the main ingredients are our different leftover breads that makes this bread super delicious. So, alam nyo na ba ang tinutukoy ko? Sa Cebu, we call it Bahug-Bahug. Some other provinces call it pudding. So mga ka-nation, ano ba ang tawag sa tinapay na to sa lugar ninyo? Let's go! Magsugod na ta! There are two processes on making this bread. We have our pudding process and our dough process. First, we'll do our pudding process. Our ingredients are leftover breads, 1 egg, 1 can of evaporated milk, 1 can of condensed milk, 2 tablespoons of vanilla, and drops of red food coloring. For our dough process, our ingredients are 4 cups of all-purpose flour, 1 cup of egg, 1.5 cups of water, 1/4 cup of sugar, 1 gram of salt, 1/2 teaspoon of yeast, and egg. So let's make our pudding mixture. So break 1 egg in a bowl. Then add your condensed milk, followed with the evaporated milk, the vanilla. Mix it all together until all is combined. So add a few drops of red food coloring. Add more if it's too light. And set aside. And now we are going to break the breads into small pieces. Then we will add our pudding mixture. So make sure that the mixture is not too wet. If the mixture is too wet, we can add more bread. If it's too dry, we can add more mixture. So it's important not to pour everything all at once. So if you can see, ito dapat ang consistency natin. So medyo meron pang bread na namumuo, and we have the wet breads here too. So we'll set aside our bread pudding. Gagawin na natin ang dough natin. So for our dough, we will mix the wet ingredients first. Water, our oil, our egg, sugar, salt, yeast, then ang flour. Then we will use our dough hook. So ngayon, let's start mixing. Start on low speed. Then gradually increase the speed to number 2, then number 4.
Mix for 15 minutes.
So stop and check for gluten development.
Mix for another 15 minutes.
So always check the dough for gluten development. If the dough breaks easily, that means the dough is not yet ready.
Mix again for 4 minutes.
So check again for the dough. If the dough is too wet to the touch or too sticky, add 1/4 cup of flour.
Mix again for another 4 minutes.
So check your dough for gluten development. So if the dough breaks easily, your dough is not yet ready.
Mix again for another 4 minutes.
So check your dough for gluten development. So one of your signs that your dough is almost ready is this one. the sides of your dough is almost cleaned up. Okay, so now our dough is ready. So when you see this one, when you stretch the dough, when you see a thin film and you can see your finger through it, that means your dough is fully developed. So ito na. Our dough is ready. Then what we will do is to lightly oil our table para dito natin i-rest yung dough. So let's just put the dough on the table, let it rest for a while. Let's give it a rest for 10 minutes.
You can start preheating the oven at 350 degrees Fahrenheit.
Okay, after resting the dough, what we'll do is to divide the dough into two parts. So there is our bottom part and our top part, so which is our cover. So we need trays or one tray for this bread. Spray natin para hindi didikit yung dough. Then yung first part, yung bottom part natin, flatten the dough. So in rolling a dough, if you want to flatten a dough using a rolling pin, start sa middle, then push up. Then same thing, start sa middle when pushing down. So when you get your right dimension, so what we'll do is to roll the dough using a rolling pin. Then i-position mo yung pan dito and roll out. Yan, di ba? So now, what we are going to do is to put the pudding. Okay, start tayo sa sides. So guys, don't worry kung may mga extra tayo. If we have extra mixture of pudding, we have the liquid, and we have the extra pudding mixture with the bread, don't worry, we can always refrigerate it and use it in the future. Okay, so i-fill natin with the mixture and press it in para walang gap. Para pag slice the bread sa finished product and buo-buo siya. Wala siyang hangin. So important sa mixture natin, pantay-pantay. Para when we put the top on, yung cover natin, maganda siya tingnan. Pantay-pantay siya. Set aside natin to. Then we'll do the top part. So for our top part or our cover, ang gagawin natin is the same thing what we did with the bottom part. So i-position natin ang dough as square or rectangle as possible. Then we'll use the rolling pin. Start at the middle, push up, middle, push down. Sa sides, middle push up, middle push down, middle push up, middle push down. Yan. So let's straighten it up as much as possible. Gagawin natin is to roll it up sa rolling pin. Then position your bread here for our top and roll out. Press the sides of the dough para ma-adhere yung doughs natin together. Okay, here. So, ito, we have our extra doughs here sa sides. We'll just roll it up sa rolling pin. Yan. Yan. Then sa sides din. Yan. Okay. So, ito na yung bahug-bahug natin. So don't worry about the extra doughs that you have. You can always reuse it, add it to your bread. If gagawa ka ng bahug-bahug in the future, so put it inside a plastic, refrigerate, or the best way to keep this one is to put it inside a freezer. I-freeze mo lang para hindi siya aalsa. Okay. Ito, gagawin natin is egg wash. Let's make egg wash. 1 piece of egg. 1 tablespoon water. Then, beat natin ng egg. So, now, let's brush the top of the bread. Yan, para maganda yung finish natin. Medyo glossy. And, don't forget to poke holes. Use a fork. Okay, so this is our finished product for before baking our bread. So you can just leave it like this, or you can put more interesting look with your bread. Lagyan nyo ng sesame seeds sa ibabaw. Okay, now our bread is ready to bake. Okay, tara na, mag-bake na ta. Our baking time is 30 to 45 minutes. So at that time, we have lots of time to clean up. Maglimpyo na tayo. So this is our final product here. We have our Bahug-Bahug. So it is still hot. Let it cool down first before you transfer it in a cooling rack, okay? So let it cool down for 10 minutes.
A few moments later.
Okay, so 10 minutes na. So pwede na natin ilagay ang bread sa cooling rack. Okay. Just be careful on handling the bread. Just be careful. Just be careful. Just be careful on handling the bread. Kasi medyo soft pa siya. Kasi mainit eh. So let it cool completely before slicing it.
A few moments later.
Okay. So let's try to slice our bread even if it's still warm. Kasi masarap talaga ang tinapay na mainit. So, okay, let's try. Ayan. Okay, look at that. Ito yung sabi ko sa inyo, you need to mix bread pudding. Dapat may namumuo pang mga breads kasi you want this kind of texture, no? Hindi lahat uniform, may white, may breads at saka may pudding. So try natin ang bread pudding natin, okay? And you know, the smell, it's so good. Okay, the moment of truth. Titikman na natin ang bahug-bahug. Very, very good. Very, very good. Okay mga ka-nation, so alam nyo na paano gumawa ng bahug-bahug. So next time, pag may mga lumang tinapay kayo, huwag nyo itapon. Gawa kayo ng bahug-bahug, use my recipe. You've seen it first in Adobo Nation. Please follow us on our Facebook and Instagram. Chef Mark Sanchez, Bread and Butter Clovis, and Spoon and Fork Catering. Till the next cooking and baking video. Bye! Oh my God, ang sakit.